A few weeks ago, I posted a video of my friends over at Green Street Joinery trying to bend solid white oak for a project. It looked like it was going pretty well, but in the end, it didn't quite work out. So today we're going to go back to the shop and see what solution they came up with to complete the project.
Welcome back, everybody. We're here at Green Street Joinery. I have a couple jobs going through the shop right now. This is a set of wall units. So these are both of the base cabinets. This one has identical doors just like this. This is black walnut with charcoal Rubio monocoat. So these will be flanking a fireplace. These are the upper sections over here, which have yet to be finished. We're also nearing the end of the chaise lounges. You guys saw us attempting to steam bend these crest rails. We did run into some issues with that, with kiln dried wood. The lignin in the wood is actually set, and there's only so much bend that you can get. So we had blowout here in these corners. So what we ended up doing is gluing up a 3-piece block, and we went back to a tried and true method, which is cutting it on the bandsaw and then flush trimming with a template. You may notice that there is a lot of short grain here in this joint, or in this radius of this corner. All these are very short runs of grain. So what we actually did, I made a little jig here. This sat, before this piece was attached, sat here. I was able to drill 3 holes, and there's a 1/4-inch dowel, a 3-inch long 1/4-inch dowel, 3 of them in the corner here, keeping all this short grain together.
Nice. Is this going to be the finished height of this?
Yeah, so this is sitting on a 1-inch solid oak base. So it'll be really low slung, and they're gonna have a super fat cushion, maybe about 8 or 10 inches high.
Very modern. What's the finish going to be?
This will be tung oil. We have several coats here. We just scuffed this before the final coat, and we'll be coating the solid stock as well.
Some really beautiful flecking in this white oak here.
Yeah, really interesting grain here in the end grain. The rays seem to radiate out of the corners.
Yeah, look at that right there. That's beautiful. And this joint here is
These are dominoes. It's a 10 by 50.
Floating domino.
Yep.
Nice. So you have something that we can see how you made this.
Yeah. So I glued up a piece of cherry, and we have the same template, so we'll be able to rough it out on the bandsaw and then bring it over to the shaper and show you how we made these pieces. So this is the blank that I glued up. This is some 8-quarter cherry. Obviously we're using quartered white oak on the chaise lounges, so this is just a representation. So our radius is gonna fit inside of here. This is the first template that we used when we made those. So we have an inside template and an outside template. This is the inside. So in order to rough this out on the bandsaw, I'll put it in here. And I'll trace the line. I can remove this on the bandsaw. Now that we have this piece rough cut, we need to attach it to our jig. So the corners here are going to end up getting cut off when we shape the outside. So have a couple screw holes under here, and we can safely attach this that way.
You want to give Montana a shout out?
Yeah, so this is Montana brand tools 4-in-1 driver.
Made in America, right?
Yep, made right in Montana. I've been using the Brad Point bits a lot as well, and they're really nice. So now this is safely attached. We have stops on either end and a positive stop on the back, so this isn't going to go anywhere. You always want your shaper jigs to be big and heavy because this bit is spinning very fast and it's extremely strong. It's a 5 horsepower machine. This is the Oliver model 4705. It's a single phase 5 horsepower shaper. Has forward and reverse, which is nice because we do have bits that, for this one for example, that you can flip over and run in reverse.
You want to talk a little bit about this bit?
Yeah, this is a Mana. It's a 12 cutter spiral bit. So you can use this with a fence as a joining bit. You set your fences offset. Here we're running it with a bearing. So now it's a bottom bearing flush trim. You can run it as a top bearing, and this bit you can turn over and run it in reverse. Right now we want to run it forward, which is a counterclockwise rotation. On a shaper jig, when you're doing anything curved and anything with a flush trim kind of setup like this, it's important to have lead-ins. So you see here I have a good amount of template before I get to the work. That way I'm going to be able to come up, touch the bearing, and lead into that cut. If you touch like this is going to want to throw this back. When you're dealing with an outside, you might want to actually come in, instead of coming in this way, you might want to come in from this side. So that's where the forward and reverse comes into play. You can actually flip this over and cut in the right direction so you don't get tear out. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to turn it on. It's spinning counterclockwise. I'm going to come in here and I'm just going to make the cut. Coming all the way back to this, I guess you call it a lead out on this side. So you see, it makes a nice smooth cut. It's nice to have those, helical cutters or spiral cutters. Sometimes you have to go back for a second pass. It's a little heavy here. Sometimes you lose contact with the bearing, so I tend to do a second cleanup pass. But even here where this grain runs out, you see it left a really nice edge. It is a good idea to have a block here to keep that from wanting to blow out, but nice smooth end grain. So now this will be ready to route the outside curve. The steam bending didn't go as planned, unfortunately. We had hoped to do it that way, but pretty happy with the results. Still gives this nice look and actually really brings some interesting grain into the project. If you follow us on Instagram, you'll be able to see the finished product when they're installed. These are going on the spa level of a new multi-unit building up in North Bergen, New Jersey. So we'll get some finish on them, and they'll be sent out to the upholsterers and then get delivered to the new building.
Well, it's always good seeing Jeff and Rob. And if you want to see how any of their projects have turned out, be sure to follow them on Instagram. I'll have a link in the description below. Back here in my shop, I'm working on the legs for the planter. I'll be posting that video midweek next week. In the meantime, I will be posting an alternative to the turned leg design. Just realizing that not everybody has a lathe in their shop, and I think that this is going to be a fun project and a timely project, and I wouldn't want people to feel like they couldn't build the project simply because they don't have a lathe. So if you're not subscribed, I hope that you'll hit that subscribe button and the notification bell, and that way you'll know when this leg project comes up. As always, thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you next time.